Al Jazeera's Zaina Hodder is embedded with Peshmerga forces. She joins us now live from the front line in northern Iraq. Zaina, this operation to retake Mosul began just a few hours ago. Tell us about the latest. At what stage are we at right now?
Well, as dawn broke, thousands of troops headed to the different front lines surrounding the ISIL-controlled city of Mosul. We are on one of those front lines, southwest of Mosul. The Peshmerga forces are taking the lead here. They have managed to advance. We actually saw them, the ground offensive begin. They advanced very slowly towards that village behind me. I'm not sure if you can actually see that village. And of course, they had to tread carefully because of the IEDs and the booby traps. Now, ISIL is fighting back. We saw them send a suicide car bomber towards the Peshmerga's positions, but the Peshmerga forces managed to destroy the vehicle. ISIL is also firing mortars. So ISIL still not giving up, but what we understand from the commanders on the ground is that they have taken territory, and they're hopeful that they will be able to clear the outlying villages of Mosul by the end of today and reach an area known as Hamdaniya. You can hear the heavy artillery and airstrikes. You can see the U.S.-led coalition planes in the skies. This is very much an active front line.
Zaina, the concern, of course, is for the civilians who are trapped inside Mosul. Many fled, but many remain, up to 1 million civilians. What is going to be done to minimize civilian casualties?
Well, according to the Iraqi government, the battle plans that are in place, they've taken this into consideration, and they will ensure that there will be minimal casualties. But like you said, an estimated 1 million people in an urban battlefield, densely populated areas. Now here, the outlying villages, they're not densely populated. But once the forces start to approach the city center of Mosul, the battle is going to be very different. The fight is going to be very different. ISIL could hide in hospitals. They could take people as human shields. We don't even know if people do want to leave or if they can leave, if ISIL will allow them to leave. We know ISIL has been preparing for this battle. They've dug trenches around the city. They fortified their positions. But there are some commanders you talk to and they tell you maybe ISIL will retreat west of Mosul towards Syria when they really feel that their backs are against the wall. So this is going to be a very difficult fight. 1 million people trapped in a city, ISIL's last urban stronghold in Iraq.
The Iraqi forces, you're with the Peshmerga right now. The Iraqi forces, of course, involve several alliances, the Peshmerga, several battalions as well. This is not an easy alliance, Zaina. Talk us through the challenges that this alliance faces in this battle.
Well, here in the north, you have the Peshmerga who are taking the lead. The Iraqi army, as well as counterterrorism units who are actually trained by the U.S. Army, they're pushing from the south. But for the first time, we've been coming to this area for 2 years now, ever since ISIL controlled much of central Iraq. We're actually seeing Iraqi army units cooperating and coordinating on the ground with the Peshmerga, even though we know that the central government in Baghdad and the Kurdish regional government here still have disputes that are still not resolved, like disputed territories. Where we are standing now, this is disputed territory. For the Peshmerga, this should be part of their region. The central government in Baghdad disagrees, and the Kurdish government was able to take a lot of ground during the advances over the past 2 years. So this is just one of the problems. There's another problem, is that the role of the Iranian-backed Shia militias. Now, what we understand from the government is that they're going to stay in the perimeters of the city and not enter the mainly Sunni city of Mosul. But yesterday we heard Abadi say that we could call on any troops we see necessary, depending on the situation on the ground. So yes, uneasy alliance. For now, there is a common enemy. This is what brings them together. But all these different groups have conflicting interests. What happens if and when ISIL is defeated?
Zaina, how long do they expect this operation to last? How long is it likely to last compared, let's say, to the operation to retake Fallujah?
Well, it will all depend on ISIL's actions. At the end of the day, like I told you, look behind me. It's open territory. It's quite easy because heavy airstrikes, artillery shelling, it helps the troops advance. And this is not built up areas, so it's easy to push here. Now, but what happens when they enter the gates of Mosul, the city center? Is ISIL going to put up a fight? Are there going to be street battles? So this is all going to depend. And if ISIL decides to pull out, Ramadi, Fallujah, they took weeks for them to clear the area, but the area is devastated and the people have still not returned. And this is yet another problem, because Mosul really is the little Iraq. You have many ethnic and sectarian communities living side by side. And it's in Mosul really where you're going to test the viability of Iraq as a nation state, if people can come together. Because we have to remember, ISIL was able to take ground because it exploited the security and political vacuum in many areas, exploited Sunni grievances. So the government has to reach out to the people. The people have to feel that they are part of Iraq, so the people will side with the government, because many commanders will tell you, if the people inside Mosul rise up as we advance, this will help us end the war sooner.
Zaina Hoda with the latest there on the battle for Mosul. Thank you very much, Zaina, for bringing us that update.